Hi, I'm Dan. Thanks for checking in on Dimgaard this week. So looking back on the session from this past Monday, uh, and this comes up quite a bit, and it's going to be true, especially if you are designing your own campaigns, but also it comes up a lot in Dimgaard adventures too. So the thing is referred to in the D&D world as the quantum ogre. And so what that is, if you don't know, it is an inevitable encounter, right? So it is a situation where the DM is like, I want this encounter to happen, and I am going to put it in front of the PCs, no matter what happens, no matter what their choices. And generally, it is frowned upon, right? So that is. However, we do use a version of the quantum ogre. So whenever we're building a very long-term adventure, although it could be even on like one of the standalone adventures, it could be one of the encounters as well. There might be an event that is crucial to the plot development, right? Like the PCs are never going to get to the end if they don't experience this particular thing at the beginning. And so we want them to experience that. And so if the PCs have done something that's going to avoid that, then we have to engineer a way for it to happen anyway. And that is considered a version of the quantum ogre. The thing that people don't like about the quantum ogre is whenever you engineer a set of inevitable encounters, it's seen as railroading. It's seen as taking away player agency. And you're saying, I don't care what you do. I don't care what the outcomes are. We're going to have this series of encounters anyway. And I don't think that we do that. So for example, this past Monday, and you can see past Monday's session in the playlist Dimgaard Adventures. So this is a two episode situation, and we know that in the climax of the first episode is the PCs discovering and resolving the situation with a set of white dragon wormlings who are on the cusp of becoming young white dragons. And there are several important elements about that, right? So that are important to the building of the story. We want the PCs to understand that, and the players, I guess, but we definitely want the PC knowledge as well, because we could just tell the players. But we want the PC knowledge that yeah, there are these various chromatic dragon cults who, for the past many years, have been working to find and hatch viable chromatic dragon eggs, and then now those wormlings are on the cusp of becoming young dragons, because that's very important to the entire middle section of the story, this level 1 to 20 story that we're building. And so we need the PCs to encounter those wormlings at the end of the first session of this 2-session bridge, I guess you'd call it, sub chapter, I don't know. And we need them to confront these white dragon wormlings, see that there have been some additional eggs that have hatched, and they're not in this group of white dragon wormlings. So there's the clear implication that, oh, some of these white dragons are now young dragons and have left this rookery. And then the second episode, which I'll be running next Monday, so I guess this is a spoiler here, is the PCs, and then part of that is they learn that the rookery is not the actual lair, because we're in an area where there's clearly a white dragon lair because of the regional effects, right? It's turned this kind of temperate island into an Arctic zone with like glacial features. So there's clearly a white dragon lair here, but it's not these white dragon wormlings that have established the lair. They're just growing to maturity in a rookery attended to by cultists. So now they've got to go into the interior of the island and seek out the actual white dragon lair and deal with the actual white dragon there. And there's some suspense there. Is this a young white dragon, or is this like a much older white dragon that spawned those eggs? There are questions that the PCs could have gotten answers to, but they killed all the cultists. Or that's not true. They allowed some of the cultists to leave on the promise. No, they killed them all. That's right. They did kill them all. Yeah. Anyway, so if you look at the geography of the island, right, you could say, okay, well, what if the PCs come into the island from a point where the rookery is not visible? And so I just determined coming in that no matter what point they egress into the island, they will see the rookery, right? So the rookery is moving around quantumly around that island, so that regardless of where they land on that island, the first thing they see is the rookery. And that's a type of quantum ogre. But I'm very comfortable in that because there are story elements there that we're trying to unveil, and I wanted the PCs to experience that. Similarly, like 3 episodes ago, the PCs go into these Locathah ruins, and in the Locathah ruins there are two tunnel entrances in the seabed, right? And down one tunnel entrance is a young sea serpent, and down the other tunnel goes much deeper, actually goes miles away, and opens up into the cavern realm, kind of the Dimgaard equivalent of the Underdark. And so similar here, I knew that I wanted the PCs to experience the young sea serpent first. Like there's important story building information that I want them to have before they go down that long tunnel to the cavern realm. So I made the determination that regardless of which tunnel they chose to explore first, that would be the one leading to the sea serpent's ladder. Again, a type of quantum ogre. And if you are a completely like remote and like a clockwork DM, then you would not do that. You would just say, you know what, the left tunnel goes to the cavern realm, the right tunnel goes to the young sea serpent, and fate will determine which one they encounter first. That's a valid approach, and we see that a lot in a lot of published material, right? Like published materials typically don't say, this quantum ogre thing. They would not normally but Dimgaard does, right? Dimgaard says, yeah, whichever one the PCs choose, there are 2 tunnels, whichever one they choose, the first one goes to the sea serpent. So if you don't like that, then Dimgaard's probably not. You're probably going to have to deal with that in Dimgaard, because we do take primacy of the story building elements over the being a remote, like having an objective static, fully defined topography, right? So anyway, so that's what I had to think of on this week. That's what came to mind this week. And then, you know, I would definitely welcome other opinions on this, like because this is very much an opinion, right? Like there's I'm not basing this on like an object. I have just made the decision that I prefer the story building elements over the removal of some player agency. That it's more important to me to get those story building elements in the game than it is to give 100% player agency. Maybe you have an objective argument for why I'm wrong about that, and I would love to hear that. You know, my best days are the days whenever someone convinces me to change my opinion. I think I'm not the sum total of my opinions, and my opinions change as I get more information. So if you have something that I haven't considered, or that you don't think I've considered regarding this matter, please share that with me in the comments, or reach out to me directly. I have my social media contact information in this recording as well. Love to hear that. And then if you find these little topics that I put out each week useful, please hit the like button so that it gets seen by more people, and hit this subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the future posts that I make. And until next week, have a great week.